What's up, Pitt fans? Welcome back to another episode of In the Trenches here on the Post-Gazette Sports Now YouTube channel and podcast network. I'm Noah Hiles. Joining me, as always, are Gavin Bartholomew and Jake Kradel. Guys, 2-8 on the season now. Obviously, this has not gone according to plan this year. We could go the normal route. We could recap another loss. We could talk about the upcoming opponent. Or we could switch it up, which I think is the move here. In a couple of days, actually, the day this airs, Thursday, will be senior night. The guy to, I don't know, Jake. I don't know how it will be viewed. So I don't know my left and right. But Jake will be playing his final game as a Pitt Panther. 6 seasons, a lot of football games, a lot of snaps, a lot of wins. And it all comes to a close at Acrisure Stadium Thursday for Jake. So the way I thought we could go about this show is kind of like it's a senior day show for Jake. And senior day is about recognizing the seniors. And it's also a day to kind of allow those close to the seniors to appreciate the times they had together. And there are a few people closer to Jake on this team than the other guy on the screen, Gavin. So I thought it'd be a cool show to just reflect through all the highs and lows of these 6 years. And unless, guys, you want to talk about Syracuse in Boston College on the show. Is that no?
I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I think I'm all right.
Okay. Gavin, do you want to talk about your injury too? Do you want to do that, or would you rather just talk about Jake? No?
I'd rather talk about Jake.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, before we get into that, guys, you both have some ad reads. I'll let you read our sponsors for the show. We'll start off with Jake and then go with Gavin.
Yep. In the Huddle is brought to you by the one place in Pittsburgh where you can caffeinate and create, Brushes and Beans Cafe, Murraysville. At Brushes and Beans Cafe, you can enjoy a delicious latte, cappuccino, cold brew, and much more while relaxing and creating your very own masterpiece. For more information, visit our website at www.brushesandbeanscafe.com or give them a call at 724-610-3782.
Gavin?
This segment is sponsored by Rendine Consulting, helping companies, staff integrate and optimize their technology systems. Call 412-965-5933 for your technology needs.
All right. So the way we're going to do this, I have a 6-pack of questions prepared for Jake. And now I said 6-pack and his eyes perked up. Not that kind of 6-pack. It's just 6-pack of questions. We can't have a 6-pack. Gavin's only 20. So we got to wait a couple of months before we even broach that subject. But in all seriousness, 6-pack of questions here reflecting on Jake's career. And the way we're going to do this is I'm going to bring up a moment or a question, and I want Gavin to try to guess Jake's answer. And Gavin doesn't have to guess it at length. And we're not going to score it because we know how Gavin does on this show when he's kind of guessing and we're scoring things. But in all seriousness, yeah, I'll just ask a question. We'll see how well Gavin knows something, and hopefully it inspires a couple of cool stories to tell on this podcast, on this episode. We'll start off with an easy one. Coolest away stadium. Gavin, and Jake's 6 years at Pitt, what do you think was his favorite away venue to play at?
I'm going to go with Tennessee. That was a pretty cool stadium to play in. The environment is really good.
Is that your answer as well for yourself?
That's my answer.
Oh, is it?
You talking to Gavin?
Well, yeah, but no. Hey, Jake, is like Gavin just said yes too. But Jake, what'd you like about? I believe it's Neyland, right? What did you like about?
I just like the atmosphere. I'll tell you what, it wasn't even like fully packed. I think it holds 100 and some thousand. I think it was maybe 80 to 85,000, but I mean, it just felt like everyone was on top of you. Like you walked in, it was like very vertical, it was massive. And I'll tell you, it was pretty sweet because we're going in there. I think we're 1-0 in the season. It's an SEC foe, and like it's a big game. Like we know we have a good team. It's a 21 team. Like we want to win it all that year. So it's like you have to go through them to win. And they come out. I think they blocked a punt. Scored.
It was the opening drive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 14-0, I think, or 13-0, something like that. And I'm like, shit. Like, we're still gonna win, but like I'm just like, damn. Like, and they're going crazy. Like it's loud. Like we're on silent cadence, and we go 3-0 the first 3 drives. So it's like we get to the second quarter. It's finally, I think we put up 27 in the second quarter, and that place went silent. It was the whole rest of the game was silent. Like we went on our normal cadence and stuff, and luckily we snuck out of there with a win. I mean, they had a little comeback coming, but I mean, it was great just go down there and get a win and start the championship run. But no, I'd say that was the coolest stadium I ever played in.
And Gavin, that was your second college football game?
Yeah, that was my second game.
What was that
yeah.
like for you?
It was awesome. I mean, like he said, when they blocked that first punt, I was on the sideline and like the ground was like literally, it was shaking. Like it was awesome. And I mean, coming from Schuylkill County, I barely see like 5,000 people in my stands. So, seeing all those people was pretty cool.
Gavin, can you do me a favor? Pull your hood down. You're rubbing up against your mic a little bit. But overall, we don't need to re-record anything. We can keep it rolling. But yeah, it's cool to hear because, I wasn't on the beat at that time. But I remember that second quarter, like you talked about, Jake. And as someone I grew up watching Pitt. I have a lot of Pitt fans in my family. I was skeptical because it was just like, oh, here they go again. Like they're just going to get embarrassed or whatever. And when you guys lit it up there, when that comeback happened or whatever, that was like the first time I was like, you know what, like this looks a little different than past Pitt teams. This quarterback looks a lot different than he did in years past. And these guys blocking for him, these guys catching the football. That was kind of like the sneak preview, I think, to that championship season. That was where it all really started.
100%.
So that's a really cool memory there. All right, so we'll move it on now to the best opponent, and we'll make this a two-part question. Best team and best individual. You don't have to answer the individual thing, Gavin, because I'm sure he doesn't. I mean, maybe he does like talk about like the best nose tackles he's gone up against in 6 years. But who do you think's the best team that Jake's ever had to go up against?
I mean, I'm just going off of my experience because I don't know who you played prior to me, but I'm going to probably say Clemson that 21 year.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you that that was a great team. That's my.
I mean, they just had some dudes.
They did. I mean, that's what it was funny. I was actually.
Team?
Yeah,
I thought
they
did.
They still had some dudes. Like
yeah, but what about like the 2019 Clemson team?
I wasn't. I'll tell you that's one of the things. That's what I was contact traced out for that game.
Oh,
so I didn't get to travel down there. I think we had 3 offensive linemen out that game. We had guys everywhere out, and yeah. But I mean, you talk about individual. I think that would have been probably. Going against Brian Breezy would have probably been the best individual player I would have played in my college career, but I never got a chance to play him.
Okay. Did you play in 2018 against Clemson?
No, I didn't. I was on the sideline just watching the four defensive linemen that went in the first round just tee off on our guys. And it was. I'm kind of. I wouldn't say I'm lucky I didn't get in, but I definitely wasn't physically. I wasn't developed at that point to. To get in there and play at a high level. But no, I would say to answer your question, Gavin's right. I would say it was that 21 Clemson team was, I think, truly like the best, like even though like they weren't an ACC championship team that year, I still say they were really good, really talented, experienced, hard nosed. And it's funny because I was talking to our strength coach actually this past Sunday about it, like just that game we're like, man, we took it to them. Like that's when I tell everyone that's when we knew we were like the championship team that year. You know what I mean? Like
we were that team, yeah.
Yes, like you beat the previous champs, and like it wasn't just like, oh, we beat them. Like no, like we did whatever we wanted that game. Like we were running, passing, like we were fishing on offense. Defense was lights out. I mean, it was one thing after another. And then I mean, and that linebacker James Skowski, he was a hell of a player too. I mean, that dude he brought it every play. I mean, going head to head with him, like it's like shit. Like we were thumping that game. I'll tell you that. And their D tackle Tyler Davis was another like really good player. I don't know if he's still there. I think.
Yeah, he's still there, but he'll be a high pick.
He'll be a high pick. Yeah, he was really good. He was actually coming off injury. I think like from the previous week, but no, he was a hell of a player. And I'll tell you, it was good to like beat a team like that, beat the previous champs, and. Kind of like we said, Tennessee kind of kickstarted everything. I think that kind of kept the momentum going and kept us rolling. And, went to Charlotte and, won that game.
All right. So let's go let's go a little different here. What would you say was your biggest challenge in your collegiate career, Jake? And Gavin, if you had to guess, just from being his friend and seeing him for 3 years, but I'm sure he's even talked about the times before you were around, what do you think was Jake's biggest challenge?
I'm probably going to say when he got that injury. What was that? That was 21 year,
21.
right? Yeah, 21 year. Yeah, probably the injury. Yeah, that probably definitely was, if I had to guess.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That injury in 21 against UNC on a Thursday night game it was actually November 11th when I was telling Gavin when he I guess Syracuse game this past week got injured. I told him like, yeah, broke my leg 2 years ago, like on the same day, like coincidence, like so I was like, all right, like, but I would say that was my biggest challenge, just coming back from that, recovering from that, and it's like, and we had like that year we were deep, like we had guys that could play, like Big Z came in and played, and it was like we left off where we were at, like he played awesome. So like now I'm coming off that injury, I'm like, damn, like I got to earn my spot back, like. Marcus is coming back. Big Z's coming back. Owen's coming back. Like I'm like where do I fall in this fold? Like I just broke my leg. Like I gotta recover, get back fast. I missed half a spring ball, so I can't really prove myself there. We have a new OC coming, so I'm like, I don't even know if this guy's gonna like me. I don't even know what he's gonna think of me. So I'm like, so it was in camp, and funny part is I don't know if too many people know this, but like me and Blake Sabovic were battling each day. Like it was the first day of camp, he took the ones. I took the ones the second day. It was back and forth. Every other day we would switch with the ones. So like we didn't have like consecutive days with the ones or twos. Like so it came down to I think it was the Tuesday before West Virginia. Coach Borbs brought us in and like told us like, hey, like I'm gonna start Kradel. He's I guess at that point I was a little more experienced than him, but it didn't mean like I outplayed him because honestly we were neck and neck. Like it's not that we both weren't playing good. We just weren't playing to the level that I think he expected us to, and we expected ourselves to play at. But I think he just felt a little confident with my experience and my previous games before that to give me the nod going into West Virginia. And then we split time for the first 2 games in that 22 season, and then Owen went down, and then I moved to center. So I mean, it was that injury was probably the toughest challenge, but happy I bounced back and was able to earn a spot, my starting spot back.
Did you have any injuries like that in high school, Jake, or was that like the first significant football injury you'd had?
Yeah, no, I had after I tore my labrum like the second week of my sophomore year in high school, and then I got surgery after that season because that's the sophomore year is kind of your biggest year of trying to get recruited and getting looked at. So I got surgery after that, but it was high school football. There wasn't too many people that were going to beat me out in high school, so that wasn't like a big challenge. It was kind of just like just got to recover and get back on the field.
Yeah, I mean that sounds tough. But I'm glad that it all worked out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
For full disclosure, you know what? We'll peel the curtain back. My laptop just came this close to dying just now, so we had to pause and pick it back up. So I don't exactly know what I last said before I sprinted over and paused and got it going, but we're halfway through. We're gonna blue vase it, fellas. We're gonna battle through. All right.
Always that blue vase. But I had my
all right. So. On the note of the blue vase, and we're laughing, what's the funniest moment in your college football career, Jake? Gavin, I'll start with you. What's like a moment that you can share on this podcast that like Jake often looks back at and laughs at?
I tell you what, I don't really know if I could pinpoint one because I mean we've had a lot. Dude, I don't even know like which one.
Yeah, I don't think any are appropriate for the podcast. That's like
if I had to guess, I'd probably say something with Borbs. Like, I don't know. I'm sure you could think of something better. Go ahead.
Honestly, like, I'm just trying to think like the funniest.
We'll rephrase it. If you're on, let's say you're on like a big time show, like Joe Rogan has you on, or Part of My Take, or somebody, and they ask you for your best college football story that you could share without getting benched these last 2 games.
Yeah.
What would it be?
I mean, like college football or just like college in general? Like, because like I'll tell you, like we had some fun times. That 21 season, man, I'll tell you, we would go to Mario's Oakland, and we had a good time. Like we had like our own little section in there, and like obviously Kenny's on the team, right? So like I mean, Kenny was famous for it'd get late in the night and Sweet Carolina would come on. He would jump on the bar and just like get everyone going. Like I have videos on my phone. It's great. Like just like the whole place erupts. Like I mean, Mario's hasn't been the same since. But just put it that way. Like that was probably my favorite Pitt memory. It was just
let me just ask you this. Was there ever a point in your life in 2021 where you're just like, I don't know if things are going to ever be better in my life than they are right now?
Kind of like life was so good in 20.
It was so good. Yeah.
Like it was unreal. Like I was graduating that fall. Like we won a championship. We're winning a lot. We're having fun with our teammates. The bonds were we were so close. We were as closest we ever were. And it just, I'm a very optimistic guy. So I thought it was going to carry over. Like I'm thinking like, hey, next year, like Nick Patty's like Kenny Pickett. Like that's my roommate. Like we're doing this all over again. Like we're going to the championship. We're winning. And we're just gonna leave off where we left off. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna keep it going, keep rolling. But I mean, hey, we won 9 games. It was a great season. I'm not gonna knock that, but it just it was. I'd say 21 was really fun.
It's like that Office quote from Andy Bernard where he's like, I just wish you knew when you were in the good old days. Like like it's
yeah. You just got to enjoy those days. I mean, and that's why like I'm even like this year, like I'm just enjoying every moment I can. Like I know it's my last one here. Like Gavin has a roommate, Jacoby, it's like we're just enjoying it. We're just having fun. Like I mean, I can't say 2 and 8's fun, but like when you have roommates and friends that you've built bonds with and memories, like you find ways to have fun around the, I guess.
Or just make the bad times a little better.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes it a little better. But yeah, you're right. You never know when those days are over.
Right. So the next question I actually had was best teammate. But rather than asking that, I just want to ask, how did you two become so close? Because Gavin, you're 20 years old. Jake, you're what, 23, 24 now?
24, yeah.
Yeah, so when he came in as a true freshman, you were a true senior, Jake. Like you don't see many people. And granted, Gavin looks like he's 29, but overall, it's kind of an odd pairing, no? So how did you guys become so close?
Yeah, I would say from my standpoint, right? So you got this guy come in, and he came in early, which was awesome, and the dude's over there squatting like 1,000 pounds. Like he's strong as an ox. Like you said, he looks like he's already 21 when he was 17 years old when he came in, and he just kind of like fit in with us. Like he was just like one of the boys. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like immature at all. And then it helps when like you got young guys that play and contribute, because then you can relate to them. Like you're on the field with me, so like you hold the same kind of like respect level. Like you're like, hey, you're producing for us. Like you're winning us games. We're having fun. So like it was perfect. And then we got in the same friend group pretty much, and
now we're living together.
Yeah, they needed an extra roommate, and Nick Patty left me, so he left me for to go find a real job on the world. So I'm like, hey, like I guess I'll come fill that last room up, and it's been history.
What was that like from your point of view? I mean, you're coming to Pitt from a small town in central Pennsylvania. You're 17 years old, and all of these grown men are like trying to befriend you. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a little scary at first. I mean, at least I had some other young guys with me, but for the most part, everyone's, 20 years old, if not, I mean, some are 23 when I was there. But, I mean, we first really started connecting when I started working with the ones, and then when camp came, he kind of sat me down. We were like a week out of, I think it was UMass was our first game that year. And he sat me down and he's like, listen, man, he's like, you're going to be playing for us this year a lot. And I was like, damn, really? You think so? And he's like, yeah, I know so. And he's like, just be ready. He's like, you're going to do great. And, just, I don't know, was always there for me and really just, I don't know, brought me in.
So now, Gavin, heading into your senior year, do you feel obligated to find like a young center and be like, this is the tradition. You're going to live with me one day.
Yeah, I guess I might have to.
All right. And so final question here. Jake's favorite game he's played at Pitt. Gavin, I'll let you guess, and then I'll let Jake give the answer.
I mean, we already talked about Clemson and everyone, so I'm going to say the ACC championship game.
I'll tell you, I didn't play in it, but that was one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, shit. Whoops.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll tell you what. My favorite, honestly, truly, my favorite game was the 2020 Sun Bowl. That was just getting a chance to. I think it was my first. Yeah, it was my first start with Patty, because Patty only started 3 games here, you know. Mm-hmm. And that was my first start with Patty. I was the center, you know. He was a quarterback, and it was perfect. Like, and then we go out winners. You know what I mean? Like, we send him out on a high note. Like, I mean, that dude. You talk about like a legendary career that like only had 3 career starts in it. Like, you know, Florida State, he rushes for 2 touchdowns. Probably should have been 3. You know, he got stuffed on the goal line that one time. But like different games, he would just come in. Like UCF when they were on that 24 win or 22 game win streak, whatever, comes in, throws a touchdown. Like, just it was stuff like that. Like time after time, he would come in. I wouldn't say save us, but he would just keep the momentum going, keep us up, and keep us winning. And you know, I wish he would have got more of an opportunity in 2022. But you know, it is what it is. I mean, I think he's happy with the way his career ended, and you know, I was just excited to play with him, start with him, and you know, get that last win with him.
That's the Nick Patty story arc of Pitt. I think he's one of the more interesting stories in the history of Pitt football.
Yeah, 100%.
He's kind of like the Forrest Gump in a way, where like when he arrived, so much interesting stuff happened. You know, he was just around for a pandemic, a championship, his final game. His final drive is one of the most legendary moments in Pitt football history, at least in the last 50 years or so. And yeah, I mean, what a cool story that both of you were a part of. So
yeah,
guys, I think that's it. I'll say this. I've had a fun time doing this show throughout the regular season, despite all of the, you know, negative things we've had to address, from something as simple as not getting 2 sources about a vase to obviously a lot of painful losses and injuries and just stuff that it's never fun for anyone to talk about. But I think this is the best show we've done. And it's cool. And I remember when I came to both of you this summer and pitched this idea to you guys, my whole point was it allows you to kind of show who you are and tell your story and give some perspective on what it's like to be a college athlete and what it's like really to be in your own shoes. And I think this show has done that more than anything else that we've done this season. So thank you both for sharing these cool stories. This was a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you for having
that was
us.
fun.
All right. We're not done yet. We still got a couple of episodes. You know, keep tuning in. We'll have a season recap and we'll see what else we do with this. Thank you to everyone who continues to tune in. Follow us on all of our social media platforms and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to the Post-Gazette YouTube and podcast network, where you can get all of your Pittsburgh sports coverage by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I'm Noah Hiles signing off, saying we'll see you next week on In the Trenches.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.